Why, hello there. A little birdie told me that you want to learn how to make a frilly scrunchie. Well, thank goodness you've come to the right place. I'll show you how. The first step of making cute frilly scrunchies is my favorite part, picking out all the fun different notions and fabrics and trim that you're gonna use. So the other day I went to my local secondhand craft store, and that is such an amazing place to get good inspiration, and I found some awesome stuff to make some super fun scrunchies with. I got this whole bag of this really pretty lace trim, all for $1. Some different colored fabric because I really want to try some monochrome color scrunchies. Got some more trims for 50 cents. Once you have some awesome notions and different supplies to choose from, time to figure out what your combinations are going to be. So you're going to need some scrap fabric, preferably some that is secondhand because it's always great to use stuff that already exists. And then obviously your trims. So I think for my first one, I'm gonna try to do a yellow themed. So I have this yellow fat quarter. I'm gonna grab my yellow trim from here. That is so cute and pretty. And then I've got this yellow lace hem facing. And I'm gonna see if I can gather it and make it more like a lacy trim detail. The first step is figuring out how big you want your scrunchie to be. And this is really up to your preference. If you are wanting something where you can see a lot of the fabric, then you want your scrunchie to be wider and cut a wider piece of fabric. And if you want it to be more gathered, you're gonna cut a longer piece of fabric. But me personally, I like it when the fabric is on the smaller side, and so I'm gonna cut a thinner piece of fabric. And this is gonna be around 22 inches in length. So it really is just up to your personal preference. I really recommend messing around with different sizes of fabric and seeing how it turns out, and you just do the one that makes you happy. Right now this piece of fabric is 22.5 inches by 5 inches. I'm liking the length of it, but when I fold this in half, that still is a pretty thick scrunchie. So I think I'm gonna take like 1.5 inches off from this, and then that's gonna become the perfect width that I want. Okay, so next I'm gonna try to gather this lace. This might not work, and that is okay. But if it does work, I think it will become a super cool, pretty, colorful lace. Because I was having a hard time finding lace trim in colors other than white, and I really want some more, like I said, like monochromatic looks. How I'm going to gather this is I'm going to set my machine to its longest stitch length. So for me, that is a 4. And then I'm going to up the tension to about 7 or 8. We'll do like 7.5 and see how that is. And then you're going to sew like normal on a straight stitch, and I'm gonna sew on the edge of the lace. But while I'm sewing, I'm going to pinch the top thread, and that will create tension, which will gather the lace as we sew it. Let's give it a try. It worked. Okay, the next step is to add your lace to the fabric. How I am going to do that is I'm gonna sew it on first before I turn it into a scrunchie. There are some ways where you kind of add it as you're sewing the scrunchie together, but I feel like this way is easier, even though there is like one extra step in it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with this lace, because I think how I want it to be is kind of layered with that one, with this lace sticking out over top. I think that would look really cute. We're going to sew this on right sides together. So it's gonna look like this. That is the wrong side. The right side is touching the fabric, and we're gonna sew it along the top. And then once we do that, I'm gonna sew this one on top of that. So it will kind of be like a little lace sandwich. Before you start sewing, make sure you change the settings back to normal on your sewing machine. So I'm gonna put mine pretty much at like the average setting place for all of them. So let's do like a 3 for stitch length, and then we're gonna do a 4 for tension. Also, I didn't mention this before, but I do have yellow thread in the top and in the bobbin. Now I'm gonna sew this lace over top of this one. Here we are, and then when you fold it up, it looks like this, which I think is so cute and happy and sunshiny. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is take it from being long into making it be a tube. So we're gonna sew them right size together, but make sure when you sew over the lace that the lace is going up like this and it's not tucked under like that. If you tuck it under, then it's going to be sewed to a part of scrunchie, which you don't want it sewed there. So I'm going to put these two ends together and pull the lace up top and sew across it that way. Okay, from here, there are going to be 2 ways that you could sew your scrunchie together. Now, I like to use the way which I call the burrito method. I can't remember if that's an actual name for it or is that just what I call it? Couldn't tell you. So I'm gonna show you that way, but I just wanted to explain to you another way which might be easier. For some reason, I just like doing it the way that I do it. So the way that I'm not going to do it is you can go ahead and fold in all of the top edge, okay? So fold it in to the wrong side like that. That's how it looks on the right side. And then once it's all folded in, you can fold it over like this. Here's the folded edge, and sew/top stitch it to make one loop. If you do this, just make sure you leave a gap so you can thread the elastic through. That is a super simple way to do it, and you might prefer it, but this is the way that I like to do it. To do it the burrito way, you're gonna want to have the wrong side on the outside and make sure that your lace is folded down like how it was when you originally sewed it. Then what I'm gonna do is lay it down on its side, and we're gonna take this top layer and tuck it together so it stays out of the way. So I'm gonna fold it like this. I'm gonna fold this one over top so it is now out of the way. Then what you're gonna do is take this and fold it over, and now we're gonna be sewing this way. So let's get that started first. As you're sewing, you wanna make sure this inside layer is staying out of the way. Also wanna make sure that the lace is all facing the same way. So let's sew a couple inches. Once you get to a spot where you feel like you're running out of space, you wanna make sure your needle is all the way down. Then I'm gonna grab this inside and start pulling it through. That gives us more to work with. First, I want to make sure this gets tucked in the right way. I'm sure this method looks really confusing if you've never done it before. I highly recommend practicing this method just with normal, like if you're making a normal scrunchie, so without the lace, because it's really nice and creates a really nice scrunchie if you do it that way. With the lace, it gets a little bit tricky, but this is just the way I'm used to doing scrunchies, so it works for me. You do whatever works for you. For some reason, that whole process was much more difficult than it usually is for me. I think because I am sewing a rather skinny scrunchie, but I will link down a video that I use to learn how to do this method because I promise it really is a good method. I made it look really hard. But anyways, here's our weird little tube. We're now gonna turn it inside out. Make sure when you sew it, you still leave a gap to be able to turn it inside out. So let's see how our scrunchie is looking. Hopefully I did this right. Here she is. She got a little twisted in the process, like the fabric looks a little twisted, but I don't think that's gonna matter once we put an elastic in here because it's gonna scrunch up. All right, our next and final step is to thread it with some elastic. I like using this thinner elastic just because I feel like it's extra stretchy. I also have this one, which I think is slightly thicker, but I only have it in black. So, and I think that would show through. So we're gonna do this white one. Your best friend for threading elastic is going to be a safety pin. To do that, I'm gonna put one safety safety pin on each side of the elastic. One side of this, I'm going to pin to the actual scrunchie. That way I don't lose my elastic. The other side, we are going to thread all the way through. Now with these scrunchies, I use them more as decorative than functional. So I like to wear them on my buns when I have a lower bun, but I'll put a normal ponytail first that's actually holding the hair in place. And these are just like a topper for me because I don't want them to be doubled up. I like them just like single, pop them on. So because of that, I only need a little bit of elastic in the middle because if it's too big, it's not going to grasp onto your bun. So depending on how thick your hair is, you really only are gonna need like a tiny bit of elastic. Like it's gonna be a pretty tight scrunchie, if that makes sense. What I like to do, I've gone all the way through, and the reason why I like to use the pins is because it also gives me something to hold on to be able to sew the elastic together. So let me unhook this one from, I'm gonna take both of these ends, I'm gonna pull it quite tight, and I just kind of like feel a little bit, like see how that's feeling, and then I'm going to sew these two together. Now we just need to close up the gap. Cut off any extra thread. And here is our scrunchie. This one is fun. She's definitely wrinkling a decent amount, so I almost could have made this shorter if I'd wanted to, but I think that is so cute. Okay, my hair's not in a bun right now, but let me just make kind of like a fake bun and we can see how this looks. Probably won't hold it that well because I don't have a ponytail underneath it, but just for kicks and giggles. I can't see it, so you're gonna have to tell me how it looks. Does it look okay? What do we think? I'm gonna watch that back and see what I think. Okay, it's a yes for me. I thought that was adorable and it just like screams sunshine. Ah! Okay, so that is how you make them. Now, the best part is doing all different combinations, trying different methods. I'm going to make some more and show you what I come up with. My needle just broke. We love that. All right. That is all the scrunchies that I'm gonna make for today. Now I need to clean up the absolute mess that I just made, but it's okay because creative people are allowed to be messy, is what I tell myself. Also, it looks like I have raccoon eyes because I never wear mascara and I am today, and I forgot I had mascara on and I rubbed my eyes. All right, so these are the 3 scrunchies that I made today. Like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to stick with like a monochromatic theme. So we've got yellow, pink, and white. I think my favorite one is gonna be the yellow one. I just love how frilly it is and it's so happy and bright and it makes me think of summer. And right now it's the 2nd of March and today was nice, but like yesterday was freezing and I'm just ready for some spring. And then I made this pinky magenta one, and I really like how the rickrack looks on this, and I definitely want to do that again. I made this all like satiny white one, and it's screaming bridal to me. If you are an upcoming bride, would you wear something like this? Not for your wedding, but maybe like your wedding shower? I feel like that would be so cute. I just loved how these turned out, and they're so fun and easy to make. I'm really trying to give a little zhuzh to the hair accessories that I have, because usually my hair is just gonna be down, or it's gonna be like up in a bun, like a curly bun. The only time I really ever have my hair in a low bun is when my hair is dirty. So this way, even if my hair is a little dirty, I can still pop on something fun and cute and still feel put together and like it's a whole look and not just me being really lazy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you make some frilly scrunchies, and if you do, feel free to tag me on Instagram at NatalieBeau_, and I would love to see them. It would mean so much to me if you subscribe to my channel or gave this video a like or even left a comment. Every person counts, and I'm happy that you have joined the clan or the cult or whatever it is that you want to call this. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. These are so cute.